I'm Dylan.
And I'm Keon.
And this is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast where we talk to statues. Because this week we watched Keeper of Traken. Not Traken, Traken.
Yeah, the pronunciations are pretty hard to keep track of. The doctor actually says something along those lines in the story, but anyway, this was written by Johnny Bryne.
Directed by John Black.
Very generic name there, and aired in January and February of 1981.
Yeah.
John Black.
that is actually one of the most generic names you could come up with. John and then Black. There's nothing special there. It's just...
Kind of like how there was nothing special in this story in episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, it really ramped up when that reveal happened in episode 3. Are we going to try to keep the reveal secret?
It was the Master.
So much for that. So much for that.
So yeah, it starts with the doctor and blind cat. Just not going to explain that, but yes, I'm going to keep calling him blind cat.
You're gonna slip up and say Adric because Adric's easier.
Yeah, no, I'm going to call him Adric too, but I'm also going to call him blind cat.
So, does he have 9 lives? This is a question I have to ask.
Yeah, he has 9 regenerations.
Interesting. Interesting.
So he dies 8 more times. Okay, never mind.
Wow. So, yeah, they're in the TARDIS. They're like, we should probably head to Gallifrey and stuff.
Nah, no.
Well, they don't do it intentionally, but all of a sudden some dude just shows up in the TARDIS and is like,
yeah,
what's up?
Some old guy with like a really, really big skull.
Yeah, it looks like Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah, from Star Wars.
And he's like, hey, so Traken's doing pretty bad right now. The doc's like, how did you get in? And he's like, I'm the keeper. I have practically infinite power.
Good thing I only use it for good, because Traken is... really peaceful.
Planet?
Yeah, really. The doctor mentions it's like super peaceful, and their entire society is based around people just being nice to each other. So,
and he's like, could you imagine if this power fell into the wrong hands? That'll never happen, right? But he tells the doctor that he's needed on Traken for some reason. I think he says that there's a Melkur on the planet, and it's kind of causing some civil unrest, and also Cassia, who's married to Tremus.
Who's getting married to Tremus.
They're like both council members?
Yeah, so there's the 4 council members who work directly under the Keeper, I guess. We learn later that they're like Keeper candidates.
Yeah. Initially I thought there was 5 council members, but then you find out Neiman is actually just like a security guard.
You thought Neiman was a council member?
Yeah. Well, the way they set it up, there was like 5 people in the room all the time, so I guess they're all council members. But then later you find out, no, Neiman's just like a security. He's like head of security.
No, I never thought Neiman was a council member.
Well, you may not have, but I did.
Alrighty.
And the keeper's like, yeah, so there's some unrest. Also, Tremus has a daughter. Her name is Nyssa.
Yeah.
She's pretty chill.
Looks
surprised. Wears kind of a tiara for the whole seal.
Yeah, not Cassia's biological daughter, but surprisingly they look really similar to each other.
Yeah.
So.
She's Tremus's biological daughter, though.
Yeah.
Which might make some things interesting in the future, now that I think about it.
Anyway, yeah, so the Melkur statue is obviously causing some problems. That's what it is. We didn't mention it, but it's a statue named Melkur. You called it a Melkur. Was there supposed to be, like, more than one of those things?
Oh, I called it a Melkur because I was looking on the wiki, and it was like, the doctor later encounters a real Melkur in an audio drama. And I was like, I guess it's like a race of statues.
I guess all of them are supposed to be evil or something.
I guess.
Really not a good disguise then, based on what we find out later.
Or maybe the TARDIS, the Master's TARDIS, was disguising itself as a Melkur, and a Melkur is an actual, like, other species. I don't know. Look, the Master's chameleon circuit actually works, unlike the Doctor's, which is still stuck as a police box almost 20 years later.
Well, 50 years later.
I mean, yeah.
Doesn't it get fixed at some point, like in the reboot or something?
No, I think the Sixth Doctor fixes it once for like all of 5 minutes, and then it breaks again.
Huh. All right.
Anyway.
Yeah, then we cut to the council meeting, like we said, and then Cassia goes out and, well, actually, the Keeper shows the Doctor and Blind Cat some footage of
Blind Cat Adric, also known as BCA.
Yeah, BCA, sure. They see some footage of Cassia talking to the statue. The Melker statue, appeared years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long game.
And Cassia has forged a friendship with it for some odd reason.
She seems to be a little bit...
insane?
Yeah. I was going to say she seems to be not all they. Well, then we cut to the actual council members, and Cassia goes out to the Melker, but not before that happens. They nominate Tremus to become the new Keeper, because the Keeper's dying, and they need to nominate a new Keeper.
Yeah, this is pretty much at their wedding, I guess, so.
Yeah, but she goes out to the Melker, and she's like, I'm going to lose Tremus. Like, he's going to become the Keeper, and I'll never see him again. And Melker's like, don't worry, I can help you.
I got this, Cassia.
Yeah, but a way more suave and soothing voice than that.
Yeah, pretty sonorous.
Okay. So Cassia's like, okay. Okay, and then the Doctor lands on Traken. Adric is like, shouldn't we like go to Gallifrey? And the Doctor's like, well, I don't really have control of the TARDIS right now. We've just landed on Traken. It looks like the Keeper did this, so I guess you should help out, I suppose.
Yep, so they go to see what's up, and they immediately get accused of being the harbingers of great evil.
Well, what happens is they go into the...
This was just hilarious. This troll statue.
They go into the council meeting, and they're like, oh, the Keeper said that he's going to send some people to help, so these are probably the people he sent. But they're suspicious, obviously, so they call up the Keeper. And the Keeper is looking out into the room, and he sees the Doctor and Adric, and the Doctor's like, please tell them that we're the people you sent. And then as he's looking out, the Melker kind of just leans past this door at the back of the room and sticks his head in the room.
And the Keeper's like, evil, great evil. And the Melker just slides away.
Probably the best scene in the serial.
Based on, we find out that the Melker is the Master's TARDIS and the Master's inside controlling it, so I was like, that's totally a Master thing to do.
Master.
I'm glad the Master's back.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Actually, I remember in our 2-year special, I predicted that he wouldn't come back, and I just missed that prediction being right by 2 serials.
Pity. And not only did you miss it by 2 serials, you double missed it.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah.
Anyway, spoilers. So they lock up the Doctor. They're like, well, I guess he said you're evil, so we're going to throw you in the cell.
Yeah, can't really blame them.
Yeah, all signs point to evil. And that's when episode 1 ends, actually, is right after that scene.
Yeah.
And in episode 2, they're going to throw him in the chamber and kill them. But Tremus is like, I invoke my council protection.
Yeah, so basically the law is that he can invoke
harbor criminals.
Yeah.
Legally.
Essentially. But if the people he's harboring do anything wrong or bad, then he suffers the punishment too.
Yeah. Kind of a convoluted law. Can you imagine if we had that law in America? Can you imagine politicians running around risking their skin to save criminals? Like, that would happen.
Well, the president can, pardon any criminal of any crime.
That's true, but when was the last time that happened? Last time that happened was, Gerald Ford pardoning Nixon for being a shady as heck president?
Hey, they're all shady as heck, but most of them are good at hiding it.
Some of them are less shady as well. Oh, Don't
Anyway.
think George Washington was that shit.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Well, we weren't alive in the 1700s.
How do you know?
Okay, I wasn't alive in the 1700s. I don't know about you.
No. So in episode 2, Tremus takes them to his chambers.
His lair.
And that makes it sound more sinister than it is.
Yeah, it does.
But he takes them.
I'm aware.
Well, Tremus is an anagram of master.
Yeah.
That kind of spoils what
Continuing
happens at the
that
end.
Tradition. Not really.
I mean,
yeah, it does, actually. So,
if you know what...
yes,
yeah.
really.
So, we're getting ahead of ourselves again. We just so badly want to talk about the master. So the doctor talks with Tremus about what's going on. And he's like, so I'm marrying Cassia. She seems to be a little bit insane, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean.
And the doctor's like, oh, no, I totally got you. So, what do they do?
Cassia goes back to Melker, and she's like, hey, I did your bidding.
And she finds all those dead people.
Oh, yeah.
She starts hiding the bodies.
Yeah, I forgot about that. She drags the bodies into the underbrush. Really cool courtyard, by the way. I guess this was all on set, so obviously no location footage, but it looked pretty cool. It looked sort of tropical almost. Nice little courtyard there. Kind of reminded me of the one still frame of the courtyard we got in Marco Polo.
The one frame. Yeah, I think they're probably saving up some budget for Legopolis next week, which is probably why they shot it all on set instead of going out to find an actual courtyard to film in.
Yeah, no, isn't that actually what they were doing? They kind of did the same that they did last season with Shada.
Yeah.
Which is that they took a little bit here and there from each story to put it into Legopolis.
Skimmed a little bit off the top.
Well, they did a good job here with the sets, and so at least the courtyard I thought looked pretty.
The storm was a bit janky.
Well, it was how they always do it, where the TARDIS is on its side. Quick, just lay down and pretend we're falling.
Turn the camera.
But yeah, so I can forgive them for that.
Have you seen that stabilized footage of like classic Star Trek? 'Cause you know in classic Star Trek, the ship would always get attacked.
I haven't watched anything from Star Trek, and I barely know anything about it.
Like the ship would get attacked, and everyone would like jump around and like run around because the ship's getting, and they would shake the camera. Well, someone took the camera and stabilized it like around the console, and you could see how poorly everyone's acting, and everyone's just running around to look like they're falling over. It's really funny.
Speaking of poor acting, now might be a good time to mention that I actually didn't mind Adric here.
Yeah,
I mean,
surprisingly. Maybe that's because he didn't talk that much in the serial.
He did more than he did last week. Maybe he's growing on us, or maybe it's just because he wasn't too big a part of this until maybe the very end.
Well, we kind of got companion surrogates, so to speak, in Tremus and to a lesser extent Nyssa.
Yeah. Well, I really liked Tremus and Nyssa, which I'll go into at the end.
Yeah, I liked Nyssa like a lot.
Yeah, and I don't know if I liked Tremus a lot. I don't know if you.
I enjoyed Tremus.
He's coming back as the Master, so.
Yeah.
Not as Tremus, unfortunately.
No, Anthony Ainley's a good actor.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into that later. So Cassia talks with Amelka. She's like, what's up, yo? And Melka's, don't worry, I got this. Just
put on this choker thing.
This collar. You're my dog now.
Totally not a dog shock collar thing.
It is. Well, he even says, like, if you don't do my bidding, I'm going to, like, shock you with this. She's like, okay.
Does he say that? Does he say shock?
Well, I think he says, like, if you don't do my bidding, this collar will, like, do something to you.
Yeah, probably.
She's like, okay. And he's like, so all we have to do to get Tremus not to be Keeper is, like, have the Doctor and his companion do something sketchy. And Cassia's like, sure, seems good to me.
Yeah, why not?
So
she seems on board with pretty much everything else, so.
The Doctor is trying to investigate the energy readings coming from the Melka in the courtyard. They've had this little scanner thing and they're investigating, and I think him and Tremus go to the courtyard, right?
Yeah, well,
and Adric and Nyssa stay behind.
Cat and Nyssa go do something else.
Well, they run a Fourier analysis.
Yeah, Nyssa introduces Blind Cat to all their technology.
BCA.
Yeah, I'm not going to call him BCA. Just a heads up, not calling him BCA.
Well, we haven't slipped and called him the Adric yet, which means he's not officially a companion. By an arbitrary measure. So, the Doctor and Tremus.
Oh, I should probably get out my notes for this story. Probably also shouldn't have mentioned that. But whatever.
I don't really have that many notes. Oh, there was a nice zoom in the first episode, though. And let me explain that. They're in the TARDIS, and the camera like zooms in on the because they have a display screen in the TARDIS, and the camera zooms onto the display screen, but then zooms through it into the courtyard.
Oh, I didn't notice that, but
I
yeah,
thought
that
was
sounds
pretty cool.
That sounds pretty interesting, pretty neat. My only note was that. First it was, Cassie is obviously going to be a companion, and then I realized she has like a high political position, so then I changed it to, Nyssa is obviously going to be a companion.
Well, you're wrong. For probably at least a week.
For like 3/4 of that, both those statements, but...
Anyway.
Oh, and I also wrote taking it back to the first Doctor days of similar-looking characters, because Tremus and... what was his name? Solon? Not Solon. Mm-hmm. Hold on, I have him on. Cerean looked pretty similar. But then they differentiate their characters a lot, so it doesn't really matter.
Actually, speaking of Cerean, at this point, the council's like, well, we'll just have Cerean be the keeper instead of Tremus, because Tremus seems to be acting pretty shady.
Oh, wait, there was 5 council members. We forgot about Cerean.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there was 5.
Yeah, there was Cerean, Katura, that other guy whose name I don't know.
Cassia and
Tremus.
Yeah. Yeah, that other guy, the other guy who saves the day at the end of the serial. The unsung hero of Traken.
Well, I'm sure if Katura had taken the position, she would have died pretty soon, and then he would have just taken the position anyway, so.
Yeah. Are you saying Katura was old?
Well, that's what they say. Katura says, like, I'm too old to do it, and then what's his name is like, I don't really want to do it, so Cassia, I guess you have to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's later. Right now, they're like, okay, we'll have Cerean be the keeper.
That doesn't really work out at all.
Yeah, because Cerean dies in episode 2. I don't remember how. Episode 2 was shaky on us. Not a lot happened in episode 2.
Pretty sure Cassia was involved in his death somehow. Somehow that would seem logical.
Yeah, no, she shoots laser beams out of her eyes.
Oh, yeah, they had that really crappy-looking eye thing where I guess she didn't want to wear contacts, or they just wanted to, like, transition into these red eyes really quickly. So she closes her eyes, and they have, like, this effect on her eyelids that looks just terrible. Just terrible.
We're nipping some budget off for next week. You think if there's one serial where they blow all the budget, it's the serial where the Doctor regenerates, right? But yeah, no, she kills Cerean right after the Doctor and Tremus come in, and they're like, whoa, Cassia, what are you doing? She's like, well, I'm taking control.
Doesn't she have some sort of conflicting it's not split
maybe
personality,
for all of 5 minutes.
But she's like, don't look in my eyes, don't look in my eyes, and then the Melker collar thing takes over. So she sort of still has some common sense, but I don't know.
More like she doesn't want to kill Tremus, her husband, the person she's doing this all for.
Yeah, well, I feel like she didn't want to kill Cerean too, but I don't know.
Well,
I don't know to what extent she was being controlled, but
pretty sure she only wanted to save Tremus, and in the end ended up dooming him.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really... She couldn't have known, the Doctor and Co. couldn't have known that the Master was going to just come out of that clock really similarly to how he did in Deadly Assassin, actually.
Yeah, well, anyway, episode 2 ends with them and the Doctor and Tremus getting captured in the courtyard.
Netted. There's one random Foster we didn't mention, but the Fosters are just the guards, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get confronted by Cassia, and then this random Foster just shoots like this net at them.
They get captured.
Yep. And then I don't know if you noticed, but like the net didn't even reach all the way to the floor. So it's just like around Tom Baker's ankles. He's like, oh, we're captured. But hey, suspension of disbelief, right?
Special effects. Practical effects. Episode 3, they get thrown in a cell. The doctor's like, I can easily open this with a sonic screwdriver, and it doesn't work. Meanwhile, Adric and Nyssa finally come into play.
Yeah, they...
Actually, Nyssa.
It's just Nyssa, because Adric actually got captured. Blind Cat is in the cell.
Yeah.
Nyssa makes or finds something that looks almost exactly like the sonic screwdriver.
It's a little ion gun, I think. It's something they were working on before for scanning, I guess, and she ups the amperage, which makes it stun people even more. She becomes the new K9.
Well, she holds Neiman and some other dude at stun taser point, I guess you could say. And so she's pretty awesome already. But she goes.
She's pretty awesome.
She goes and rescues the Doctor and Adric and Tremas.
Yeah. So they head out to go figure out what the Melker is doing with Cassia.
Yeah, the Doctor uses the little stun beam a lot in episodes 3 and 4.
He's like, out of my way, I'm stunning all of you. But yeah, they escape and make it to Tremas's quarters, and the Doctor sends Adric and Nyssa to the TARDIS.
Yeah, and they need to find the code for
he doesn't send him to the TARDIS just yet. Happens a little bit later in the serial.
They have to find the code for the source, which I guess is some governing document for the Keeper. I didn't really know what it was.
No, the code is what controls the source, because the code is contained in the
source code.
It's contained in the 5 rings of the council members.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really.
That's why the Doctor's looking for the plans, because he wants a way to subvert the fact that they don't even have Tremas's ring actually at this point, because they took it from him.
Yeah, I didn't really feel the need to keep track of all this convoluted stuff here.
Anyway,
it's in a wall. Tremas just reaches into a wall and
the Doctor's really snide about it, because Tremas like, I can't show the plans to anyone. The Doctor's like, he's like, it would defy my honor. And the Doctor's like, well, if the planet goes down, at least you'll have the satisfaction of knowing you kept your honor intact.
Yeah, I don't know why the Doctor's such a jerk. Like, Tremas seemed on the edge of about to do it.
Yeah, well, maybe the Doctor knew he just needed a push.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, the Doctor's like, oh, thanks. So they look at it and they're like, well, I don't know if there's really anything we can do right now. And then all of a sudden the guards bust in.
They spread it out on the table and hold it down with what look like some vegetables that I guess Tremas just has on his table.
Hey, if you need a snack, you just keep vegetables on your table.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot that was totally normal.
You don't just keep, like, squash on your table?
No, I keep river fruit on my table.
Better be
careful. It really sucks when those spiders hatch out of them. No.
I was going to say, better be careful. You might accidentally evolve into a marshman.
Yeah. I guess Adric is evolved from spiders. God, that's just weird to think about.
Great.
Oh, I read on the wiki that this is the last serial that doesn't feature any humans.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I guess you're right, it doesn't, because Adric's from the E-Space universe.
Yep. There you go.
Well, yeah, because basically every companion from, I guess, now on is a human. Interesting. Or at least in the reboot. Anyway, so they go to the council room, because Cassia at this point has decided, the Melker has told Cassia that Cassia is going to become the Keeper, because it's the only way to keep Tremas from being the Keeper. I guess she doesn't realize that if she becomes the Keeper, she'll also never see Tremas again.
Well, I think she's pretty much totally controlled by Melker at this point. But to her credit, she does go through the actual legal proceedings to become the Keeper, which is it was kind of dumb, because they they postponed this meeting to decide who's going to become the next keeper because apparently they need more time or they want to go through official channels or whatever. And then when they have the meeting, it's just super relaxed, nonchalant, really doesn't seem too official. It's just them gathering. They're like, well, who wants to be the keeper? Katura's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm too old. And the other guy's like, well, I don't really want to do it. So I guess it's you, Cassia.
Yeah.
Are we finding out that other guy's name? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Luvic,
yeah. Thanks for saving everyone, Luvic. They had that sort of papal flame thing going on. Well, not really, but you know, like the smoke thing when there's a new pope. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of that for whatever reason.
Okay, for some reason that made me imagine like a rock concert where they're announcing the new pope. So it's like he comes out and there's all these strobe lights and smoke effects.
Wish you could see the look on my face right now because it's one of disbelief.
I don't know, you said papal flame and that was the first thing I thought of was like
waving their lighters in the air.
Are you ready to meet the new pope?
Oh my God. Do you remember last time? I guess it was a few years ago when the old pope was dying and the cool new pope was becoming the pope. I'm not Catholic, by the way, but there was like that bird on the little smokestack thing, and it like started trending on Twitter, and everyone's like, "That bird should be the new pope."
They did the same thing a month ago when that bird landed on Bernie Sanders' podium while he was giving a rally. It also started trending, like bird for president. Birdie Sanders.
That's a children's book that I read when I was like 7 years old. Bird for president.
Anyway.
Don't know how I remember that, but clearly it impacted me greatly.
Did it? What was it about?
It was about a bird running for president. Clearly, all of my life decisions were based on that bird.
I mean, I guess the Constitution doesn't specify that you have to be a human to run for president. You just have to be a naturalized U.S. citizen.
It implies it.
But it doesn't say it, though. See,
what is this, 10th Amendment versus necessary and proper clause?
No, it's Legal Talk podcast. You got to look for those loopholes.
Yeah, we're becoming increasingly political.
Because it's becoming increasingly relevant.
No, it's not.
It's becoming increasingly prominent in the United States.
Yeah, but the show, Doctor Who itself, has gotten a lot less political and better because of that.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Like, Malcolm Hulk's serials were pretty political and were probably some of the best of its era, so I don't know about that statement.
Yeah, well, think whatever you want.
Wasn't the Faceless one one of your favorite Second Doctor stories?
That wasn't too political.
Yeah, it was.
Not really. The only government was the...
I mean, there doesn't have to be a government for it to be political. Like, you can make comparisons between the government and other bodies.
Okay, well, you can have some commentary, but when I say political, I mean, like, fictional politics, like androids of Tara.
So you have to
stuff.
clarify.
I guess so.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe you should have clarified.
You were the one who's... What?
Yeah. Think about
what?
Anyway, the serial continues with some more stuff happening, because I don't even remember where we left off.
We're at the end of episode 3, but before the episode ends, it's actually revealed that it's Master, but not stated that it's the Master.
Yeah, we've seen that there's some guy inside the Melker at this point. We don't know who it is yet.
And he's
heavily shrouded in darkness.
He's heavily implied that he knows the Doctor.
Yeah.
And then in episode 2, I think you see his burnt-out hand, and you're like, who might it be? And then in episode 3, he turns around, and you see his whole burnt-out form. And if you remember seeing Deadly Assassin like 5 years ago, you're like, oh, it's the Master. Mm-hmm. But it's not stated until the end of episode 4 that it's the Master. So.
No, it's not.
But I actually liked that reveal.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, when he started mentioning the Doctor and how his plan would succeed if the Doctor wasn't around, I was like, that sounds very Masterish. Nah, couldn't be.
Well, they also don't just come out and say it. They give you increasingly more obvious hints until they're like, I'm the Master, Doctor. It's me. I'm the Master.
Yeah, and the Doctor's pretty dense about it, too, to be honest.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to comment on it at all. And the Master's like, you still don't know who I am, Doctor. Which is weird, because you'd think Joffrey Beavers is a pretty recognizable voice.
Did the Doctor ever see the Master and Deadly Assassin outside of visions? I don't remember.
No, I think he did. Like, in the final episode.
Yeah, he was controlled, or he was not blackmailed, but
yeah,
he was convinced to do something or the other relating to Rassilon at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess he did.
Yeah, anyway. It's the Master. Remember how I said that burnt out thing was going to cause a lot of problems with the Master's chronology? Well, this is why.
Yeah, well, I've stopped caring about anything at this point, so there you go.
Yeah, so in episode 3, it ends with Cassia dying when she becomes the Keeper and Melkor taking over, and he's like, I'm the Keeper now.
Yeah, and this was really cool. When Cassia disappears and Melkor appears in the chair, you hear a TARDIS noise, and that's when you're like, oh crap, the Melkor is the TARDIS, which I really liked.
I mean, it played before in the serial. That wasn't the first time that the Melkor made the TARDIS sound.
Yeah, I didn't notice it before. When did it play before?
In episode 2, when he leaves the courtyard to go see what's going on, because he kind of just disappears and like, it's kind of like a TARDIS noise. It's also weird because when he quote-unquote destroyed the TARDIS with his laser beams, it didn't make the TARDIS noise to dematerialize. That's kind of suspicious. That's where you realize that the Melkor was the one who made the TARDIS disappear. So, they brought the TARDIS back at some point. I don't think we mentioned that the TARDIS disappeared, but it came back. They brought it back with like some pseudoscience.
Yeah, that's another one of the reasons why they incriminate the Doctor and Adric, because they say the TARDIS is in the courtyard, and they go into the courtyard and it's not there, and they're like, you're lying.
Yeah. Anyway, now is when the Doctor sends Nyssa and Adric to the TARDIS, and they go to the TARDIS, and then
they create this contraption that saves the day. I don't really know what it was.
When they started doing that, I was like, great, Adric's coming up with his own plan again, because that's worked so well before. But then it ends up saving the day, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll give you a pass this time, Adric.
Well, give him a pass. Come on, give him some more credit. He does save everyone.
Yeah, but let's admit, as soon as you saw him start going rogue from what the Doctor told him to, you're like, okay, great, this is going to end in disaster.
Well, the thing is, I liked him in this story up until this point, so I was like, it would be really cool if he saved the day, and he does, so.
Yeah.
I guess
with Nissa's help.
I'm warming up to him. And I already do like Nyssa, as I've mentioned, so.
Yeah. So, the Doctor and Tremas escape. Well, they get captured and then escape.
Yeah, they get put under lock and key again.
Yeah, and then the Melkor's like, so all the council members are going to be confined to quarters, and they're like, what? And he's like, just a temporary measure.
What was that whole thing where the Melkor couldn't, like, stabilize itself for very long?
Oh.
Well, I guess we start calling it the TARDIS.
Tremas is like, when someone assumes the role of Keeper the first 24 hours, it's, like, unstable because you're still gaining all the power. You, like, gain it incrementally. You don't gain it all at once.
Sure.
What do you mean, sure? That's what Tremas said.
Why not? No, I mean, I believe you, but it's just kind of BS, like a lot of stuff in the show is, that you just have to accept, so.
Look, it's science fiction. You just have to accept that's how science works in this universe.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but it's just silly, so.
It's a plot point. So the Doctor's like, well, if we can, like, override the source before he gains full power, we'll be able to stop him. And Tremas is like, yeah, let's do that. So they look at the plans. And Doc's like, hey, maybe if we, like, override this. Because Tremas is like, oh, yeah, it's, like, gamma encrypted or whatever. And Doc's like, I know a couple shortcuts.
Something or the other. They figure out how to save the day, essentially, is what I got out of this.
Yeah. And then the Melkor shows up and destroys the plans. Well, he sends Neiman to do it, but they're not going to hand it over. And then the Melkor destroys the plans. But it's too late because the Doctor and Tremas already have a plan, so.
Yep. They go back to the
source chamber.
Source chamber, yeah. The Master controls Tremas
somehow. Just
Yeah,
using that
somehow.
telekinesis, I guess, he's always had.
Yeah, he freezes the Doctor in place and tells Tremas to shoot Neiman.
He's also the Keeper now, which is almost infinite power. Oh, yeah, that was really jarring when Tremas just, like, kill Neiman. So Tremas just puts the gun up and shoots Neiman.
Yeah, and then he almost kills himself.
The Master's like, kill yourself.
Ha, nope.
Just a prank, bro.
But not killing Neiman, that wasn't a prank.
No, Neiman's dead.
No, Neiman's dead. She was like, so is he alive? No, he's dead.
Yeah, so the Master they're 3 numbers away from cracking the encryption and winning. 337 were the numbers.
Yeah.
But the Master transports the Doctor into the Melkur, and he's like, I'm the Master, Doctor. I'm surprised you haven't figured it out yet. I'm just going to tell you I'm the Master.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he only does that because he wants the Doctor to know who he is.
Well, no, he also says he wants the Doctor's body because his body's decaying.
Oh.
He wants the Doctor's body. That's why he brought him in there. He's going to take over the Doctor's body.
Huh. Well, that doesn't work out.
Yeah, because so he explains he's at the end of his 12th regeneration, which is what we got in the Deadly Assassin, which is why he was all decayed. They explained it there, right? She's like, I'm at the end of my incarnation, like, I'm gonna die. And the Doctor's like, yep, you're gonna die. And he's like, just kidding, I have all the power of the Keeper now, so...
It was just a prank, bro.
I'm gonna take over your body.
But Neiman's still dead.
Neiman's still dead, though.
Neiman! The most likable character in this story.
Not really. No.
Not at all. Probably the most hateable character in this.
Besides Cassia.
No, I liked Cassia.
Yeah, but did you like her as a person, or did you just like her because she was played really well?
Both.
Oh, you liked the insane lunatic.
Yep.
Interesting.
Takes one to like... Okay, no.
Yeah, so Adric and Nyssa show up and plug their device into the actual source, which is apparently in Tremas's quarters, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know.
They plug it in.
I think that just sums up this show at this point. I don't know. I just don't know.
And stuff happens.
Yeah,
the source is going to blow up.
It looked pretty cool. It looked all cyberpunk, and it had that globe thing attached to it.
It's like a model of Epcot. Yeah, it starts... Everything goes crazy. The lights start flickering. Some dude in the studio is flickering the lights. Forgot to mention the really bad storm. So at one point, the Doctor's about to get captured by the guards, but then a storm happens, and they all run away because they're scared of the storm. Anyway, that was that.
Then we get some more crappy winds.
Yeah.
Time winds. No, not really.
The Doctor escapes because the source is weakened. Adric punches in the key code 337, and then the Doctor's like, "So one of you better get in there and take over as Keeper because otherwise the source is gonna blow up."
Yeah, the flames.
So Luvik's like, "I'll do it."
He runs in and saves the day, and now there's only one, two, as of now, soon to be one council member left. Guess they're gonna have to choose 4 more people.
Yeah, and then Tremas wakes up and is like, what happened? What happened? Because he gets knocked out by the Master.
Yeah, I guess.
And the Doctor's like, you just missed your chance to become Keeper. He's like, oh.
Darn. I was vying for all that power. No, not really. Seems like only Cassia was the one who was really vying for power. The rest of them just seem like pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, the day's saved.
Well,
or so
not just yet.
Adric and the Doctor say their goodbyes and head into the TARDIS, and then...
Well, Adric's like, we were meant to go to Gallifrey, to Nyssa.
Yeah.
Just mentioning it again.
So they leave, and that's where it ends.
Well, not really.
Or so you think. So you think, because then it cuts back to Traken.
Traken. Hell,
really hard to keep
I don't
track
know
of all these.
You already made that pun in this episode. Oh, actually, I made a note. The Doctor made a pun in episode 4 that I thought was really funny. So the TARDIS is a Type 40. That's the background you need for this. But, Adric, it's right at the end. Adric's like, oh, like, can we go to this place? The doctor's like, I don't really know how to program that in. It's not my forte.
I actually remember that, but was that supposed to be a pun?
Yeah, it's not my forte. It's not my 40.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but...
Hey.
I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
The doctor, one of the season 17-ish lines from this story was the doctor says something along the lines of, but don't listen to me, I never do.
Oh, he also says, what can't be cured must be endured. And Adric's like, that's one of the dumbest things you've ever said. The doctor's like, yes, it is. Yes, okay. Back to the point. It goes back to Tremas and Nyssa.
Which I liked. Obviously they did this to set up future stories, but, it would be nice if they did this sometimes, instead of the doctor and companions just leaving and the serial just ends, maybe go back, maybe have the last scene where the planet of the story comes back. Maybe don't put that before you see the doctor and everyone leave. Maybe go back to it, kind of give it a little more closure there.
Well, that's why I liked Face of Evil, because we came back to a planet the Doctor's already been to. Like, we hadn't seen the original story. I think it's just interesting to see the aftermath of what the Doctor does, which is why it was nice to go back here, because, like, what's the aftermath of the monster getting destroyed? Because he didn't actually get destroyed.
I guess, but all I'm saying is, maybe in Creature from the Pit, put the huntsman becoming, well, I guess that was at the end. It was like the same scene, but maybe put it after they leave. Just to kind of wrap it up a bit more. That's just what I think. Maybe. Obviously, it doesn't work in every case, but anyway, yeah, we get back to Traken.
And Nyssa goes off. She's like, I'm gonna go do this stuff.
Yeah, guess everything's at peace now. What could possibly happen now?
Well, Tremas walks over to this grandfather clock. This is chilling in the corner, and Tremas like, this wasn't here before.
He touches it and is immediately gets frozen / stuck to it. The master creeps out. And he's like, yes, a body. And then he takes over Tremas's body.
New body at last.
He takes over Tremas's body and...
instantly transforms his appearance into Roger Delgado.
He's back. He's not dead. He didn't fall off a cliff.
Ooh.
That's how he died, right? He fell off a cliff. Oh, God.
No, but actually...
I wish Roger Delgado was back, but he's not.
Anthony Ainley now looks exactly like Roger Delgado.
Through the magic of makeup, or maybe he just looks
just
like...
growing a beard?
He had a beard the whole time, but...
Yeah, but now it's shaved to look like Delgado's beard.
Yeah.
Thing.
So there we go. That's how the Master gets some more regenerations and
it's not
comes
really.
back.
I don't think he gets new regenerations because Tremas isn't a Time Lord. He just gets a new body. That's why the timeline becomes confusing because now he has a new body that doesn't have regenerations.
Whatever.
And apparently he has that power to just take over people's bodies.
Yeah, see, I didn't question it. I questioned it for like half a second and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to question this.
I just accepted it. I was like, I guess he just has that power.
Yeah.
But then I was like, why didn't he do that before?
Guess you just really wanted to off the Doctor.
I guess. Yeah, and Nyssa comes in like, Dad?
What's kind of dark about it is that she probably isn't going to be suspicious of anything happening for a while. It's like, she's just going to be like, well, Dad's not, he'll be back soon, like,
Well, what's even more dark is... minor spoiler, Nyssa does become the next companion.
Yeah.
Which means that when they encounter the Master again, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
I guess it's her dad's body. It doesn't necessarily look like her dad anymore.
Well, I mean, you would be able to tell,
yeah, a little bit.
I just think that's going to be interesting. It's like Nyssa and her dad is the Master. I mean...
Watch them just not even bring it up at all.
I think they'll bring it up.
I don't know. I'm skeptical.
Well, I found out Nyssa was a companion because they didn't intend for her to be a companion, but they used her as a companion later, so the guy who wrote the serial got tons of royalties because they used his character in a ton of serials. I don't know when she becomes a companion, though. But I liked Nyssa.
probably soon. Yeah, I really liked her. She's kind of Leela-ish, and
She's feisty and smart. She's smart and feisty.
yeah, and Leela's my favorite companion. So there you go. And
I just wish she'd take that tiara off her head. It doesn't match at all.
Probably will.
I think she did right at the end of the serial. I don't think she actually had it on in that final scene with Tremis. Yeah, she's also wearing like a skirt, I guess.
Well, I think she. Not commenting on that, but just I think she works well with Adric because they're like both geniuses, apparently.
Well, I think Nyssa is less cocky about it.
Yeah,
Pun not intended.
I guess. What?
I'll explain it later. But
Whatever.
no, she also doesn't seem to be as, I guess, book smart as Adric. She's got more street smart, so to speak.
She knows how to create a taser thing.
True. I'm just saying, like, the characterization of Adric that we've gotten so far is that all he knows is math, and he's, like, pretty poor at social interaction. He's pretty poor at knowing what to do. But whereas Nyssa is, like, she knows what's up. I don't know how to explain it. She knows how to interact with people, and she gets along well with people. Whereas Adric seems to be really divisive.
Well, she knows how to hold people at taser point, whereas Adric doesn't seem to be able to steal river fruit.
Yeah, that's the metric we're judging companions on now, whether or not they can steal river fruit. You know, Leela would have just gone in there and murdered the whole tribe and taken all the river fruit.
Yeah.
And I would have been okay with it.
Yeah. See, murder is definitely okay when it's Leela. Anyway, yeah, so Nyssa comes back as you spoiled for me. Thanks.
Really minor spoiler.
Yeah, no, I'm glad about that.
But now you can look forward to it.
Yeah. So obviously we enjoy the 3-person TARDIS more than the 2-person TARDIS, but at least it's also a companion that we seem to enjoy so far.
Yeah, and she works well with Adric and the Doctor, so I think, actually, this would mean that this is the first time that a companion didn't join the TARDIS in the serial they were introduced in.
Yeah, I guess. If you're not counting Susan, who joined, like, before the serial she was introduced.
But she was introduced to the audience in the serial in which she was already in the TARDIS.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
So that's interesting. But yes.
But we can talk about Tremis now, who...
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious he wasn't going to become a companion, but at least
we get Nyssa.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that too. But I was going to say, at least he stays on as the Master, so sort of pseudo Tremis. But Tremis was a really cool character, and we always like how, or whenever the Doctor and his companions have like allies where they go, and obviously they hadn't met Tremis before, but
yeah, companion surrogates.
Yeah, it was nice that they had like one steadfast ally here.
Yeah. Especially when everyone else was against them, and the Master was just,
trolling
messing
around.
up, just jumping around.
I still love that scene at the end of episode 1 where he just peeks in the doorway.
Just to see what's gonna go on with the Master, what kind of characterization we're gonna get, if they're gonna try to go for the pseudo Delgado feel, or if they're just going for Delgado in appearance only.
Well, I mean, he was the only Master so far. Let's be honest, the only real Master so far. So, I think they're going to try and channel him here.
Probably. They're supposed to be the same incarnation, apparently, with the whole body swapping BS. But yeah, for Big Finish, the audio dramas, they tried to work something out with Anthony Ainley before he died, but they couldn't. I guess the fees just weren't working out. So Joffrey Beavers basically plays the Master for every Big Finish story ever. It's actually pretty good. He's actually really good. I really enjoy his version of the Master. I've listened to one audio drama with it, and it's probably one of my favorites.
That's the guy who voices the Melker, by the way.
And who plays the Crispy Master in the serial. But, if you want more of him, I would recommend the audio drama Master with the 7th Doctor.
Really unique title there.
Well, they had a little trilogy where they were looking at where they brought back villains from the classic series. So they had Master, Omega, and No, it's really good. Joffrey Beavers is great. It's a pity that we're not getting more of him, but I'm interested to see what Anthony Ainley is going to do with the role. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, by the way.
It's Ainley or Ainley, but yeah, so we'll probably listen to that at some point.
It's really
planning
good.
on listening to everything ever. But yeah, as far as my enjoyment of this serial goes, watching episodes 1 and 2, I was just like, yeah, whatever. This is okay. Nothing really special about it, but not really bad either. I started getting more into it in 3 and 4 once the Master showed up, and but just talking about it now, I would say I liked it.
Yeah, better than State of Decay.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I'll make final judgments after we watch Logopolis next week.
Fair.
But I guess we should probably remind people of how we're doing the next couple episodes. Mm-hmm. So we're doing Logopolis next week. We're finishing season 18. Mm-hmm. Then we're doing K9 and Company. Yep. So just kind of skipping ahead there. Then after that, we're doing our 4th Doctor retrospective as a separate episode, which we don't normally do. But that's going to be with Jim and Martin from Crinoid Podcast.
Yeah. So that's the schedule, just in case you forgot. And we'll remind you next week as well.
Yeah, we'll just keep shoving it down your throat.
We just want to make sure people know that it'll be a little bit different for the next couple weeks. But then everything will return to your regularly scheduled programming after that. But yes.
Kind of interesting. Now that we know that it's a Master trilogy, we're kind of splitting it up
Spoilers.
A lot. But oh well, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't think we actually mentioned yet in this episode that the Master comes back for the next 2 serials.
Yeah.
So, spoilers, I guess. It's like they had the E-Space trilogy, and now they have the Master trilogy, so...
Yeah, I wonder when they're going to go back to Gallifrey.
Hopefully next week. But if you want to find out, tune in. Email us at thedoctordecadavegetable.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, love letters. Thoughts on Joffrey Beavers as the Master? I don't know.
Isn't it just Jeffrey?
I don't know.
That's how you spell Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Beavers? Joffrey Beavers? Joffrey sounds cooler, let's be honest. Jeffrey Beavers.
Okay, that's kind of a questionable last name based on slang terminology. But anyway.
You're going to have to explain that one to me because I didn't get that. Check us out on YouTube at Trust Your Doctor. Check us out on iTunes at Trust Your Doctor. Leave a rating if you like the show.
Yep. Check us on Facebook. Also, obviously, Trust Your Doctor and like us on Facebook. And also check us out on Twitter at TOID Podcast and follow us on Twitter. And next week, we finish up Season 18 with Logopolis. But until then, the end.